Schedule the best service in town at WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 and put your refund to work.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Jag head coach Liam Cohen, while at the owners' meeting, commented on the return of last year's first-round pick, Travis Hunter.
Getting Travis Hunter another year, doing different things and how we, fine-tune his role.
Florida State took care of business on Tuesday night. The Seminoles rolled past Stetson with steady bats and shutdown pitching to lock in the 6-3 win. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 73 degrees at 10 o'clock. Time to tip, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Handoff, here comes Fred, looking up the middle, now cutting back, there he goes, Fred's at the 40, Fred breaks a tackle, he's on the run at the 50, Fred's on the go, he's at the 30, Fred 20, Fred 10, he's into the end zone, touchdown Jacksonville! Wow! So back he's got a hold, there he is, 30, Taylor outside 40, there he goes to the 45-50, it's a foot race 40, Taylor 30, Taylor to the 20, he's to the 10, he's pulled out, but he gets into the end zone, touchdown on the first play of the game, 77 yards, Fred Taylor erupts. High kickoff, Desmond Howard's got him at the 10, has blockers, 15. Now there's a reverse play. He throws it across the field to Cedric to Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith down the sideline. Here he goes, 40. He's got room. He could go. 50, 40, 30. It's a foot race. They aren't going to catch him. 10-5, touchdown Jaguars. 85 yards on the double dip alley-oop reverse play from Desmond Howard to Jimmy Smith. Unreal. They trail by 6. Brunel takes the snap. Quick throw. Howard catch. 15, 10, 5. He'll score. He'll score. Touchdown Jacksonville. Touchdown Jacksonville. Touchdown Desmond Howard.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. First day of April, and I don't have any April Fool's Day plans, Tony. No pranks or tricks or any of that up my sleeve. I didn't even wear the long sleeves today, so I'm showing you everything I've got. How are you today?
Doing well.
Yeah. You anticipate any issues on April Fool's Day other than I-95 being shut down?
Yeah, it's
this
a bit
morning.
of an April Fool's start to the.
Obviously terrible. I heard Prosser say accident with fatalities.
Yeah, at least
so,
two.
Man, that is tough. But anyway, that was the state of affairs.
Everyone's start for the commute this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. But today, man, we are jam packed. We got a lot of stuff going on. Surprisingly, we are just over 3 weeks out from the NFL draft. The Jags are holding a press conference coming up just under an hour from now to finalize and announce officially their plans to play in Orlando at Camping World Stadium, which has been approved unanimously by the National Football League. So we're going to carry that press conference live. So we switched things around a little bit for you today. Ryan O'Halloran, columnist at the Florida Times-Union, was out at the owners' meetings, got back into Jacksonville this morning. He's going to join us. We had him originally scheduled for next hour. He's going to join us at about 10:30 this morning to talk about all manner of storylines with the Jags, including, Tony, owner Shad Khan, very happy, it seems, and with good reason, with the current status quo with the brain trust that he has put in place here, or allowed Tony Baselli to put in place, but he put Tony Baselli in place. So you can do it any way you like on that. I know Shad has been excited, and I think probably a time or two in the past he said, we've got it right this time, right? But I think he believes that that's the case this time around. I think a lot of Jaguar fans match that feeling. So today's question of the day, I didn't want to ask just simply how do you feel about the regime where things are headed, because I think most people think that's a resounding 10 out of 10, that most people think we're headed in the right direction. You might not agree with every single move along the way, but the general movement of the franchise is going in a place where you'd like it to go. So specifically, asking about the draft. Again, 3 weeks from tomorrow is round one of the NFL draft. 3 weeks from Friday is when the Jaguars draft will likely start this year. You don't have a first-round pick going into it. You didn't do a whole lot in free agency. So just generally, how excited are you as a Jaguar fan for this year's draft? And I'm seeing a lot of 10 out of 10s already, and that's great, man. There are people that love the draft no matter what. I'll be honest with you, it's not as like I'm not just anticipating it like I do in a lot of years because the Jags don't pick until right now, pick 56.
Sure, and I would say, like, when the Jags have had the opportunities, as few as they may have been over the time that I've been covering the team, but when they're picking late in the first round even, you know, when I'm getting ready for those drafts, the anticipation is different than when they're picking in the top 5-10, right?
No doubt.
Like, it's just different, and 56 is a different feeling. Doesn't mean I'm not excited about the draft here in 3 weeks.
But it's not a 10 out of 10 for me. I'll tell you that. Like, you know, look, and granted, you don't want to be picking in the top 5, but when it comes just to the draft itself, you could focus in on just a handful, 1, 2, 3 players and know you're going to get one of these absolute blue chippers, or at least a guy you hope will turn out to be a blue chipper. So anyway, we'll talk about that as we go along today. Colby Taylor, been chasing this guy for a couple weeks, and we finally got together. He is fast, Tony. He has a 9.99 relative athletic score. You see those posted all the time now in terms of guys putting their best work on film prior to the combine in terms of measurables. Colby Taylor, West Florida linebacker who kind of burst on to our scene when we saw the Jags were at least talking to him at his pro day where he put up eye-popping numbers. Ran him down, got a chance to catch up with him yesterday afternoon, and he is going to join the program here less than 10 minutes away. And, you know, just here's a young guy. And granted, chances are he's not going to end up in Jacksonville, right? Just because the Jags have shown some degree of interest. He did say that other teams are starting to get interested. His profile is starting to rise a little bit right now. But, you know, how does a guy with that level of capability, that athletic potential, end up taking the path that he took? So we'll talk with Colby Taylor coming up, who is an edge. I'll see how he defines himself. He's an outside linebacker who was primarily a pass rusher at Newberry College and transferred to West Florida. He's trying to make it as a linebacker in the pros. Does he think he's a better fit in a 3-4 or 4-3? We'll get to all that kind of stuff coming up, and wish the young man success as he embarks on a big stage of his life right now. Honestly, the NFL draft, don't know if he'll get drafted or not. We wish the best for him on that front as well. So we'll get into that. O'Halloran afterwards. Jags presser less than an hour away. So we'll hear from Shad Khan and a few others talking about the decision to go forward and play those games at Camping World Stadium next year. And your excitement level for this year's draft, particularly in your mind compared to recent seasons when you know the Jags are going to be picking a lot higher. Now, granted, you got a better team heading into the draft as well, so that can factor in. All right, we are locked and loaded today. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines, on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at that same number, 904-641-1010. You can stream us on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. You can find us on the socials at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and the producer who will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of his love, Mr. R.J. Saunders, R has no J. I would have been, really would have made no sense if you had played a little snippet of Round Ball Rock there. So thank you for adjusting on the fly if that was necessary. Good morning to you, RJ. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. What's the haps?
You look fantastic in teal, by the way.
Arigato.
I must say, you really do. That's a good look for you. So RJ rocking, going hardcore Jag teal today in the control room. All right, let's come back. Colby Taylor, NFL draft prospect. Ryan O'Halloran, Florida Times Union columnist. Jacksonville Jaguar press conference on the way. Got a lot to do. Tony Smith, RJ Saunders, I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
We're going to do a little number for you, but remember, we're a bit rusty, so bear with us. Just like the old days. All right.
Mornings
Maestro.
on 1010XL.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate Chessman.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
MyGate Rewards members, this deal is just for you. Right now, grab any two 12-ounce Red Bulls and get 2 of your favorite roller grill items for just $1. When you need a boost, Gates got you. See store for details.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie. Join our show this Wednesday from 4 to 6 at Liberty Landscape Supply on San Jose. Wear your Iceman gear, and you can win free tickets to Whiteout Cancer Night with the Jacksonville Iceman.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Most things are easy when you're motivated. The question is, what happens when you're not? That's where Awaken 180 was different for me, Sneaky Joe, Bowerly, Beamer, and everyone else I know. Get motivated at awaken180weightloss.com.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, the draft is rapidly approaching. I bet Colby Taylor is excited for the draft coming up. Whether we have a first-round pick in Jacksonville or not, Colby Taylor's just looking to hear his name called. I'll be honest with you, Tony, and I think you would say the same. You and I did not know who Colby Taylor was on March 22nd. Then on March 23rd, Easton Butler sent out a tweet that said West Florida linebacker Colby Taylor had an insane pro day speaking with the Jaguars there, and posted the numbers, which some of them would have been the best marks out of anybody in his position group at the NFL Scouting Combine. We welcome Colby Taylor to 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville right now. Colby, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Mike. Good morning, Mr. Tony, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Bro, it's great to catch up with you. You know, we played a little kind of direct message tag for the last couple weeks. But look, man, you've been busy. You've been getting down to business here. Just tell us a little bit about what this offseason has been like for you, preparing for an opportunity you hope to get to play in the NFL.
Oh, man, it's been an absolute blessing. You know, I got the opportunity to go train out in Hattiesburg, Mississippi with Siege Everything with Johnny and Hunter. And then after that, you know, obviously did the pro day. Like I told you yesterday, after the pro day, went home, ate some ice cream, ate some wings, you know, got to breathe a little bit. But now I'm just getting prepared for minicamp for the next couple weeks and just trying to get in shape.
Some of the pro day numbers really do pop out, Colby. I mean, a 4.52 40, 1.55 10-yard split, 31 bench reps. Did you surprise yourself after you finished that workout?
No, actually, I was a little disappointed. Usually in training, the last probably 3 weeks, I was hitting a 4.47, 4.48, so the 40 was a little disappointing to me. And then the bench, I was a little disappointed. I would like to get more, and I actually got 30. I went back and counted the video, not 31, but when the Jags dudes announced 31, I wasn't going to be like, oh, no, I actually got 30.
Right.
So I cut that number.
Either way, your bench number would have been the top in the linebacker group. So I got to ask you, man, are you a late bloomer? Like, have you know what I mean? Like, this is not, I'm not trying to be insulting at all. You have staggering athletic numbers, right? And people are going, and including myself, I'm like, how does this guy end up at D2 Newberry College, followed by West Florida, to the point where you can be this good of an athlete and not have gotten on our radar or played at a higher level in college? Tell us why you ended up taking the path you took.
So I would think that it'd be a combination of being a late bloomer and selfishness, because in high school, I really wanted to play safety. And that's what my secondary coach wanted me to play. But we ran a 3-4, and they needed somebody to come off the edge, and I just happened to be athletic enough to do that. And then I get to Newberry, and it's kind of the same thing. I wanted to be a linebacker, but they needed someone to come off the edge. And then I transferred to West Florida because I wanted to have the opportunity to try to win a national championship and still be close to home, because we moved to Florida, and they needed someone to be at nose because we didn't have a lot of guys. So I was like, you know what, I guess I'll just go be nose.
That's a lot of moving around. Tell us, is that basically the path of your football career to this point? It's just moving around, kind of a jack of all trades on the defensive side?
Yes, sir. Yeah, like in high school, played a little bit of outside linebacker, inside linebacker, same thing at Newberry. And then West Florida, we were a very talented team and just played nose. And, had the opportunity to probably go play D1, get on some more people's radars when I left Newberry. But, it could have been my last year of playing football, and I just want to be close to home and competed for a national championship at West Florida.
Do you feel, as we talk here with Colby Taylor from West Florida, linebacker candidate for the NFL draft, do you feel that having kind of been forced to play some safety, play some linebacker, play some 3-4 outside backer, play nose tackle, have you, whether you would have chosen this path, do you think maybe you're a more well-rounded defensive player because of it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the draft at every level that are only comfortable playing one position. And, I always tell coaches, like I told Coach Ramsey here joking that if he wants me to go play safety, I'll go play safety for him. But, I think that I have the ability to play just about anywhere on the field.
Has anything stood out to you going through the draft process here for the last couple months outside of, you had the opportunity at the pro day and everyone's kind of paying a little bit of attention to that, but has anything stood out to you as far as what you've heard from a team or anything in the process?
Not as much. The only thing that stood out to me a little bit was some of the teams didn't predict me to have as good as pro day as I did, but, I sent a clip to my agent that he sent to the Seahawks, and it was me chasing a dude down from like 50 yards, and they were like, yeah, this dude might run a 4.73. So I was like, that was the only thing I was a little surprised about.
Well, so what do you see yourself as? And in talking to teams that have shown some interest to you, you mentioned to me yesterday, there's some other teams sniffing around you, not just Jacksonville. Are they projecting you as kind of like a 3-4 sub-package pass rusher? Or do you see yourself maybe as a 4-3 outside linebacker? Where do you think you'll fit in at the next level?
I think the way that I would fit in would be described as the way Leo Chenal is. Sometimes he plays a little bit of off-ball weak side backer. Sometimes they'll line up on the edge. Sometimes they'll line up right over the guard, or sometimes they'll line up inside over the center. And, I think that's similar to me. He's very athletic. If you go look at his pro day, me and him had basically identical pro days. And, I think that me and him have a very similar play style and ability just to play anywhere.
We know the Jaguars talked to you, and that's what got you on our radar, Colby, was the report of the Jags having talked to you after your pro day there. How many teams have reached out to just get more information on Colby Taylor?
As of right now, none have reached out to me, but they mostly just go reach out to my agent anyways. But I'd have to say the Commanders, the Vikings, the Panthers, the Seahawks, the Saints, and then the Jaguars, obviously.
A bunch of them, man. Do you get the sense, are they telling you priority undrafted free agent? Do you get the sense that you have a chance to be actually selected in the later rounds of the NFL draft? I mean, and I'm not saying this I haven't seen you play, brother. You know what I mean? But I got to imagine coming from that size school, that it's tough to get your name called over the couple of days of the NFL draft. So I'm sure you just want an opportunity, but do you think there's a realistic chance to hear your name called, let's say, Saturday of the NFL draft?
I definitely believe it's a realistic chance. Like my agent told me that my draft grade got bumped up, so now either teams look at me as a 7th rounder or a priority free agent in the draft. But I mean, honestly, if I go undrafted, I think it'd be even better for my story because at the end of the day, when we go to that mini camp, we're all gonna have the same logo on our helmet.
Did you play anything outside of football during your high school or pre-high school career?
I did. I played basketball and baseball.
Bro, with those athletic measurables, you should have played everything. I mean, I guess, like, do you find, like, you're a young man, right? And this is interesting because when I was a young man, you played everything. You played football in football season. You played baseball in baseball season. It's become a lot more specialized for this generation and maybe the last few generations. Colby, do you feel that playing different sports has been a benefit to you, or do you see the benefit of some people specializing in one area?
Oh, man, I think there's tremendous benefit to playing multiple sports because, I mean, if you play the same sport year-round, you're just going to burn yourself out. So being able to play basketball and baseball for me not only helped me, like, have better hand-eye coordination or better footwork, but also was just something fresh that I could play.
What is the NFL team that gives Colby Taylor a chance getting when they bring you in?
Oh, man. They get a selfless guy, going to be a great locker room guy. And, I know everyone likes to say that they're going to work harder than everyone, but, I went through back-to-back ACL surgeries. I went the D2 route. I turned down the ability to go play D1. So, I don't think there's many guys in the NFL draft that are going to work harder than me when they get the opportunity.
And, something you were saying, too, about, it'd be a better story if you didn't get drafted because, it for the down the line, telling the grandkids maybe. But, there's something to, when you get picked in the 7th round, you don't have a choice. When you slide through the 7th round, even though you want to hear your name called, man, at least then you get to take a look. All right, did this team take a linebacker? What do they have here? And you can kind of pick your spot. Do you think you'll reach a point in the draft where you just hope that you just make it to the point where you can pick your landing spot?
Oh, absolutely. But, at the end of the day, when I started playing football and realized that I really want to be in the NFL, ultimately I do want to hear my name called, even if it's for a team that might not be the Jags, man. That's the ultimate dream. But like you said, there's a lot of benefits to not getting drafted and slotting past it to being able to pick my team and being able to pick the team that suits me the best.
What do you know about the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Man, I'll tell you what, I know a lot about Trevor Lawrence. I was telling Mr. Tony yesterday I've been a big Clemson fan. So I know a lot about it.
Yeah, you're a South Carolina kid. You're a big Clemson Tiger fan, and we have a spot for a Clemson Tiger here. We moved on from. By the way, what's Travis's last name? The running back who played for Clemson.
ETN.
See, that's what we've been saying, brother. And he goes to New Orleans. He says, no, it's Achan. So, we've been saying it wrong for 4 or 5 years here.
Man, they were saying that at Clemson, man. That's his last name.
Trust me, man. We saw Clemson's pronunciation guide had the initials E-T and N on there. I looked it up. But, all right, Colby Taylor, this day is about you. And hopefully in a few weeks, you'll get that opportunity to hear your name called. We'll give folks the opportunity to give you a follow on social media at Colby Taylor 56 is where you'll find him, man. And look, it'd be great if you ended up here in Jacksonville. It'd be a fantastic story. We just wish you get the opportunity somewhere and, may the chips fall where they may once you get into a camp.
Yes, sir. And before I leave, do you mind if I say something really quick to everyone?
Go ahead.
Man, I would just like to say that, there's been many joyous days in my life, but the most joyous day of my life was when I gave my life to Jesus Christ, man. And if you've never given your life to Jesus Christ, I pray that you do. And the verse that I think of is Romans 10:13. For whoever shall call on the Lord shall be saved, man. Just give your life to Jesus Christ, man. It is the most important and beautiful thing that you will ever do in your life.
Well, Colby, I know a lot of people will echo that message.
God bless you, Colby.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it. Good luck, bro. We don't know what the future holds for you. I know you don't either, but keep charging, and we hope all your hard work pays off for you here in a few weeks.
Yes, sir, man. I really appreciate y'all, and y'all hope you have a great rest of your show.
All right, buddy. There he goes. Colby Taylor, West Florida by way of D2 Newberry up in South Carolina. Who knows? Tony, maybe in coming to a camp near you in the National Football League. So I wish him the best, and just a nice, polite young man. I forgot to bring that. He did mention that. Yes, he goes, man, I'm such a big Clemson fan. I'm like, you can't be starry-eyed if you see Trevor Lawrence in the locker room with you. But, look, I don't think he gives a rip. How great would it be to go to Newberry College, go to West Florida, and hear your name called in the NFL draft? No matter what team was doing the call-in, you're going to get that opportunity. So we wish him the best. Glad we could track him down, and hope you enjoyed that conversation. Coming up next, the legend himself returns to Jaguars today. Mr. Ryan O'Halloran, the columnist for the Florida Times-Union, going to weigh in on the owners' meetings, all things Jags off-season. That's straight ahead on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
Hey, Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street-legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jax Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's bothering you?
I've been struggling with a bit of procrastination, Jason.
You? Procrastinate?
I meant to tell you before, but I guess I, kind of put it off.
I get that.
But then you said spring is the best time to get my air conditioner checked before the summer heat hits, and I thought, what if I put that off too?
Uh-oh.
I mean, what if I wait too long to call for my spring service and you guys get too busy with emergency repairs and new installations and you can't spare a service tech to come do my tune-up?
Dude, put on your Bueller shades.
Whoa.
Just join the Bueller Air and Plumbing Maintenance Program. We'll call you twice a year, in the spring and the fall, to schedule your free AC tune-up. Procrastination defeated.
Hey, that's great. I really should sign up one of these days.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Liberty Landscape Supply is sponsoring Whiteout Cancer Night with the Jacksonville Icemen, Friday, April 3rd. Wear your Iceman gear in store and grab free game tickets while supplies last. Bring your ticket back with any $25 purchase and get a free 1-gallon plant. Liberty Landscape Supply has been making outdoor projects simple in Jacksonville for nearly 20 years. Find one of the 4 area locations at libertylandscapesupply.com.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tofoy Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with I9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, we continue along here on Jaguars today. Just really getting into it. Coming up in about 30 minutes, Jags going to have a press conference to officially announce that they will be playing in Camping World Stadium in Orlando next season, at least for their stateside home games. They anticipate multiple London games next year. And the columnist for the Florida Times-Union was out at the owners' meetings covering the Jags in fine fashion. One of the original hosts of Jaguars Today, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan O'Halloran is with us here on 1010XL. Ryan, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Good to join you.
Hey, good to have you on, man. Excellent work, as I mentioned to you yesterday, covering the owners' meetings. Really tons of good nuggets that you were putting out there. What was the most interesting thing? Let's put aside the Orlando aspect, because we felt like it was headed down that road and it became official. What was the most interesting Jaguar note you came across this week?
The cop-out answers, there was a lot of them, but I'll narrow it down to something I wrote to today's paper, was Trayvon Walker. I asked Liam Cohen, two-part question. Are you guys exploring moving him inside a defensive tackle more often, like on early downs, and could he hold up there? Well, Liam said he could hold up there. He played that position in college, but he put the kibosh on him doing that more often other than third down. So they see him as an edge. Translation, defensive tackle, I think, is a big need here in 3 weeks.
Which of the, mentioning Trayvon Walker right there, which of the Jaguars' 5 extension-eligible players do you think will be the most difficult for the team to figure out as far as what that next contract is going to look like?
Yeah, I think it's Walker, Tony, because I would let him play out this 5th year. He has 3.5 sacks last year.
Mm-hmm.
He probably thinks he's a $25 million a year player. He's not. He's not 15. So I'd say, hey, go prove it. Prove you can stay healthy. Prove you can move inside on third down and win next to Josh Hines-Allen. Prove you can, win, have some pass rush moves. So I think that's going to be the most difficult one if the Jaguars decide to go to the table with Walker. I think Washington and Strange, I wouldn't be surprised if those get done during like the offseason program, and at the latest, the day they report to training camp.
What about Anton? Is the 5th-year option kind of a placeholder, hopeful to get an extension worked out, or they want to see another year out of him?
I would probably lean towards seeing another year out of him. They do have an extra year of runway. If you're Harrison's camp, that 5th-year option is the baseline for an average of the extension. So if I'm the Jaguars, first thing you decide, okay, if you're going to keep him at right tackle, that impacts the money. And let's see if he can back up last year's play where he was challenged during camp and have another solid season.
What would you expect a contract offer to Brenton Strange to look like, given the tight end position has the kind of value that it has in the league, but maybe that would be the one position they'd be willing to go a little bit north of that, given how valuable it appears he is to the Jaguars in their offense? Like, what would you expect that to look like?
Yeah, I had that in today's column, and I looked at 2 comparables. One is Isaiah Likely, who just signed with the Giants. He's at an average of 13.3. And then Jake Ferguson from Dallas, he signed an extension for $12.5 million average last training camp. Their numbers through 3 years are better than Brenton Strange's numbers, but there's obviously extenuating circumstances potentially there. I had Strange at 91 catches, Likely at 110, Ferguson at 149. So if I'm Strange's camp and I see, hey, this is an ascending player who's going to have a big role, I think that's sort of the target that they should start at, is the 13 to 12 range.
Talking here with Ryan O'Halloran, Florida Times-Union. Ryan, put the actual dollar figure aside. Which one, if you can only re-sign one, who's more important going forward, Parker Washington or Brenton Strange?
Man, I gotta say Brenton Strange, and that's not a knock on Parker Washington, who had a terrific season. But you look at the depth chart with the Jaguars, they're already paying Jacoby Myers $20 million a year, and so there's 4 or 5 teams that have 2 of those guys at $20 million per. It's probably not a spot you want to get into. If Brenton Strange, when he got hurt last year, that tight end spot, they got nothing out of it. And so they definitely missed him. And he's a physical blocker in the run game. So I think Strange is the more valuable overall player, even though Parker will make more splash plays.
The Parker thing is interesting given how expensive wide receivers on second contracts who have any kind of production generally are. And it also kind of directly speaks to what is going on in the team's mind with Brian Thomas Jr. right now. And what is your best guess as to what is going on with Brian Thomas Jr. from a team perspective right now?
Well, here's a topic this week, and when I asked Liam Cohen and asked Tony Baselli about Brian, and Baselli was perfectly frank yesterday. Says he got off to a rough start, then he got hurt, and then they did like some of the things he did down the stretch, even though it may have not appeared in touchdowns. They only had 2 of them. And what Liam Cohen said on Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday was, hey, let's put a plan in place during this offseason program and then attack it. Doesn't matter what happened last year anymore. And I think that's the right approach to take with Brian Thomas. That said, he just can't be a vertical threat. He's got to be able to stick his toe on the over-the-middle routes to be an effective player. So if you look at Parker Washington's potential next contract, I think a baseline for his camp would be Shaheed from Seattle, who signed for 3 years and $51 million. That's a $17 million average. Washington has better 3-year numbers than Shaheed, so they got some wiggle room in terms of their money because Thomas is on such an affordable contract for a couple more years.
I would take 3 years, $51 million from the Jags' perspective on Parker Washington today, man. I mean, it doesn't get any cheaper, Ryan, if you continue to ascend, at least, if we anticipate that. Where do you put wide receiver among their needs, O'Halloran, as we know, that Travis Hunter's expected to play more on defense this year. We've gone through all the makeup of the rest of those guys. We know they had Jake Bobo, but, that's kind of the back end. Where do you put wide receiver among their draft needs?
Not high because they are committed to Brian Thomas and playing with Myers in Washington. So I think what the Bobo offer sheet revealed is they want a guy who can play receiver and play a lot of special teams. They didn't have that guy last year. A couple of people mentioned Tim Patrick. I think he played like 25 snaps in special teams. Bobo was over 200. So if they're on that day 3 of that draft, I'm sure they're going to be looking for a bigger wide receiver who can really step in and be a core guy. But to me, in terms of the offense, I don't see it as a high priority.
We're about 3 weeks away from the draft now, Ryan. What does a successful 2026 draft look like for the Jaguars?
By the way, it has snuck up on us, hasn't it?
It really has, bro.
And when you don't have a first-round pick to cover, it really gets bogged down. But a successful draft, let's start Tuesday. Let's start with that Friday night when they start with 4 picks. I would make sure I end that night with 4 picks because those are potential for 4, either immediate or future starters and immediate contributors. I think they got to address defensive tackle, even if they do end up keeping Armstead, because Devon Hamilton, he's in the last year of his contract as well. They have to be able to get some kind of interior pass rush. You have to address the edge spot because you cycled through some veterans last year who you haven't brought back yet, so you need some depth there. And then also, okay, where are you at with your corner depth? Where are you at with your linebacker depth off ball? Because right now they would be either Ventrell Miller or Branson Combs starting at Devin Lloyd's old spot. So that doesn't invite a lot of optimism there because you just haven't seen it enough.
Ryan, let's shift over to the coordinators here. I know you asked Liam Cohen about how important it was to retain both those guys. You can kind of hit the ground running a little bit. I think Anthony Campanelli's loss would have been more impactful in the short term, but Tony and I talked about this yesterday. Everyone around the league just raves about Grant Udinski. Like Kevin O'Connell said, we'll all be working for him one day in the not too distant future. Like ultimately, is he the guy on this staff that we're going to look back and go, wow, we had him and didn't realize how good he was?
Well, I think we do now. Throughout last season, it's like, hey, this is a young guy. He provides some great insight. But then you start going around the locker room during the week, and I remember Nick Mullins, and I started asking about Grant, and I remember Nick Mullins. I asked Nick Mullins, I said, in a quarterback meeting, what's the longest you've ever talked about a play? Then he starts laughing. He goes, well, when Grant's not in there, it's like 5 minutes, but then he comes in, it tells us what all 22 guys are doing, and it turns into a 15-minute conversation. So that's the level of IQ he has, and he impressed the teams that he interviewed with, Buffalo and Cleveland. And, probably this wasn't his cycle, and that's not a surprise. He hasn't called plays. He's still 30 years old. But with another good season, definitely Campanile, I think, would have a shot. But what it does for Liam Cohn is, if he would have lost Campanile, he would have to spend all of January interviewing coordinators and probably interviewing a couple of position coaches. Now he was able to dig in on that roster. And I'm sure what Liam spent January figuring out is, okay, when this happens next year, I'll be ready to go.
What is your best guess as to what the stink that Liam Cohen mentioned, and then connected after your follow-up question to the run game? What is your best guess as to what that means practically for the team? Is that a personnel problem, a scheme problem? What is Cohen hinting at there in your mind?
Well, one reason I like talking to Liam is he shows his like angst, and the run game struggles over the last 6-7 weeks last year, that ticked him off every week. He didn't hide it. So, okay, is it the running back not picking the right gap or hole? Is it a guy getting beat at the line of scrimmage? Was it, one thing that Cohen mentioned a couple times was that did he not commit to it enough? So I think it's a kitchen sink deal. But they were, over the last 9 games, they were 30th in the league in yards per carry. That's bad. And then the red zone, they started relying on Lawrence a lot more to get those touchdowns. So I think they probably did a full audit of that. And I asked Baselli about that yesterday, and he sort of pointed to, hey, the run game, including the quarterback, is an 11-man thing. And it includes the quarterback getting in and out of the right play based on the front, running backs, receivers, tight ends, offensive line. So I think they want to get back to that, because that's all you heard about them talk about themselves early in the season last year, is they want to be the most physical team on the field.
All right, follow up on the run game, Ryan, as they sign Chris Rodriguez. They have Tootin and Quint Allen back. DJ Dallas is on the roster. A, do you think that they'll spend a pick on a back? And B, based on the personnel that's presently in place, how do you see the roles playing out?
Yeah, I'll do the second part first, Mike. I do think there's going to be more of a division of labor than last year when Etienne took so much of the carries. LaQuinn Allen showed an ability on third down. Tootin in that playoff game showed a lot of burst. And then, I started watching Rodriguez a little bit last week, and it's tough to tell because Washington was just so pathetic up front. So, but he did have some big carries. He has a familiarity with Cohen. So, if you had to, week 1, 1st and 10, my guess right now would be Rodriguez as the veteran, but also making sure Tootin and Allen get a lot of work as well. As for drafting a back, if there's somebody on day 3, take a flyer on them. But here's the thing, guys, is they got 11 picks right now. I don't think they're going to end up with 11. So what's the over-under? If they have 7 picks, that sort of narrows down, throwing some darts at the board.
You mentioned running back maybe on day 3 there a little bit. Wanted to ask you about how you expect them to approach the offensive skill positions in the draft. Running back, you may have answered there. But what about wide receiver and tight end? How do you expect them to approach those?
I think tight end's at the top of the list on offense, because right now you got Brent Strange, and then what? I mean, Quentin Morris is a special teams guy. He'll be able to help out a little bit in 12. Or one thing Liam Cohen mentioned is, hey, the Rams played a lot of 13 personnel, so he's looking into that. I'm sure a lot of teams are looking into that. So I think if I want to lay a couple bucks down, I'd say the first offensive position that's addressed in the draft is tight end.
Interesting. Where do you put the offensive line in the mix?
Well, I think you always look at it as they're right now. Walker Little is still on the roster,
right?
So. Do you see, I think you have to ask the questions first of, okay, where do you envision Wyatt Milam eventually? Are you going to start him at right guard with a competition against Patrick McCarry in camp? Probably. last year you heard some whispers that maybe right tackle is his best spot. Well, Anton Harrison has sort of locked that spot down. So, I think anytime you can look at an interior guy to add somebody, that would be something. But they like Monheim at center. They like Milam as a swing guy. They still got Little. And so, and then Cole Van Lannon coming off the knee injury at left tackle. So I think they'll be picky in terms of who they draft at offensive line.
Ryan, I know you mentioned Van Lannon, and I know you wrote about it, but give our listeners an update, like Van Lannon in his rehab and Travis Hunter in terms of timelines for them to be fully cleared.
Sure. So Van Lannon injured his knee in the last regular season game. It was a day after he signed that contract. So I asked James Gladstone about that, and he says he sort of gave a vague answer in terms of, he's on schedule, but they'll know more as the offseason program goes along. I don't think we'll see him in OTAs or in mandatory minicamp, and I think that's the reason why they haven't really made any calls on Walker Little. If Van Lannon isn't ready for the start of camp, Walker Little's probably your left tackle. So that's a consideration. On Travis Hunter, I asked Liam Cohen, do you think you'll see him in OTAs? He said he couldn't say for certain. But keep in mind, that surgery was November 11th. So they've had a long rehab here to be able to get ready if they want to give him a couple test drives during the offseason program, which I think they'll do. But he said very well ahead of progress, according to the doctors and athletic trainers. So I think better news, more clarity, I think, on Travis than Cole.
We'll be hearing from him here in about 15 minutes, but what did you take away from the opportunity to hear from Jags owner Shad Khan earlier this week?
Yeah, and Mike, I think the last couple of segments ago you mentioned, it was a good point, there have been a couple of times during his ownership tenure where he thought that he had everything in place. Mm-hmm. Well, he probably should have thought that way going into 18 and going into 23. He was perfectly frank, I thought, because I said, what makes this group different? And he says those two teams in 18 and 23 got complacent, got comfortable, and they thought they had it figured out. I was like, that's a hell of an answer. So, I think the key thing is he just likes the structure now. With Baselli as your EVP, Cohen, Gladstone, those three guys being able to work together. Yeah, I've only heard whispers about the internal strife of the previous regime. But it doesn't feel like this group has that right now. They're all sort of pulling in the same direction.
All right, Ryan O'Hauer, as I told you when we were communicating, setting this up, man, you crushed it out at the owners' meetings. You crush it all the time, bro. We appreciate what you do as a sports columnist at the Florida Times-Union. Appreciate you hopping on this morning, and I know you're frequently here on 1010XL. We'll get you more in the mix on Jaguars today, but we certainly appreciate you this morning, Ryan.
Okay, fellas, good talking to you now.
You too, pal. There he goes, Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times-Union, at his name, Ryan O'Halloran on X. All right, let's take a quick time out because we're getting a little behind, but there's a lot of good content there with Ryan. We got a couple of breaks to get to the top of the hour press conference. We'll do that straight ahead on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. At 1010XL, radio is just the beginning.
Transmission begins.
The 1010XL Sports Network is now everywhere on your desktop, laptop, and phone. Find 1010XL at 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. I've heard people selling diamonds saying they have high-quality diamonds at rock-bottom prices. Can that happen?
Frank, that'd be like a Mercedes dealer saying they sold at the same price as a Yugo. That just doesn't happen in any industry, and people who believe it are always the ones looking for something too good to be true, and they normally find out later it was. In diamonds, when you talk about higher quality diamonds with credible diamond grading reports from GIA, AGS, or Forevermark, the prices are higher, but so is the quality and value. Now, for a customer to understand that, they have to try to learn things like going to the internet, but they're going to get confused because they don't have an expert to ask questions to. The best way to get answers is to come in one of our stores and ask one of our professionals what those questions are and have them explain real diamonds to you. The result will be you'll understand more about a diamond's quality, price, and value by coming in.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Looking for golf that doesn't feel like golf?
Welcome to Pine Royale, Callahan's new golf entertainment destination. Play a 9-hole par 3 course, compete in TrackMan-powered driving bays, and get ready for all-new 18-hole mini golf coming soon. As the sun goes down, the course lights up. Add in great food, a full bar, and space to hang with the whole crew, and suddenly golf feels a whole lot more social. Search Pine Royale Callahan and come play today.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week and weekend at VyStar Ballpark. Tomorrow is Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Don't miss fireworks Friday and Saturday, plus Southpaw onesie giveaway on Saturday, presented by Miller Electric and Hyatt Regency Jacksonville Riverfront. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable, family, fun.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality. Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trusted company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. Termites, chinch bugs, roaches. It's their time of year to shine. Preventative maintenance is a heck of a lot cheaper than treating an active infestation. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule your free estimate.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, coming up in under 10 minutes, we got a press conference here that's going to feature Jaguars owner Shad Khan, President Mark Lamping, Florida Citrus Sports CEO Steve Hogan, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, and Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings providing remarks following the vote by the NFL owners to allow the Jaguars to use Camping World Stadium next year. So you'll hear that coming up at the top of the hour. So we're taking a really quick segment here to get back on time. Appreciate Ryan O'Halloran giving us some extended time there in the hour. Tony, one theme I'd like to develop more, and we've talked about it already, that Ryan brought up is, you know, the difference between this iteration of the Jags and past years where Shad Khan may have said, hey, we got it figured out, is that they're not resting on their laurels, right? That whole, the stink of the running game thing and how much that bothers Liam Cohen. You know how easy it would be to be one of the darlings of the NFL, to go around right now? I'm 13-4 in my first year. Everyone thinks I'm an offensive genius, but by all indications, the Jags are not letting that complacency rot even have a chance to grab hold.
Absolutely. And again, you know, we mentioned a couple things yesterday with when they're willing to say these things, I think the fans just kind of go, good. They're feeling what I'm feeling.
Yes.
And that kind of thing is, again, they're matching the energy of the fan base because they've been here. They saw what happened in 18 and they saw what happened in 23. Right? And those were teams that we were talking about being Super Bowl contenders going into those seasons, and they completely flopped in both of those years. So, yeah, the urgency needs to be there.
I just want to point out as we head to break here, we are not going to be streaming. If you're listening to us on one of the streams out there, we're only going to be over-air broadcast for the press conference. You can stream the presser at Jaguars.com and on the Jaguars YouTube channels as well, but we'll bring you that for our audience. We're out there driving around Jacksonville. The owner of the Jags straight ahead Shad Khan and friends as the Jags get set to play a season in Orlando next year. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Home of the Jaguars fan.
To see the stadium packed tonight was awesome. One of the best game environments I've been in.
This is 1010XL.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Helping you over the hump. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weight Loss Wednesday continues on Jaguars Today.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
At G&H Tires and Service, the G stands for great pricing. The H, well, that means honest service. For over 20 years, Roger and his team have helped Jacksonville drivers stay safe on the road. Need brakes, oil change, AC not blowing cold? Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change? Affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update. Jag head coach Liam Cohen, while at the owners' meeting, commented less may be more this season.
Theoretically, we could get better as a football team and not win 13 games.
Florida's 7'9" giant Olivier Ryu is hitting the portal. The world's tallest college hooper wants real minutes after barely seeing the floor in Gainesville. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 76 degrees at 10:59. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
I think this happens to be the most 80s song ever. I do. I think it's the quintessential 80s song to me. But what are you going to do? Everyone's got their own opinion. What do you think about that, RJ? What's quintessential 80s song?
I feel like there's a lot of them. I don't know what's the quintessential, but I mean, this would be in the ballpark.
When I say name a great 80s song.
The Romantics? Talking in Your Sleep?
Okay. Wow. There you go. I wouldn't say that's deep cut, but that's a nice one. Yeah. You know, early. That's early 80s right there. It's like 82-ish.
Yeah, the one that popped in my head was Take On Me, but
That's maybe the quintessential 80s video.
Yeah.
Of all time. But anyway.
How about that Things Will Only Get Better?
Oh, that's another good one.
I love that part.
Is that Howard Jones? I think that's Howard Jones. I think I had 2 copies of that album. I don't know how I got them. I don't remember buying 1 copy. But I think I had 2 copies of that album by Howard Jones. All right, we're awaiting Shad Khan and crew to take to the microphones. It should be momentarily here as the Jaguars going to make it official. They will be playing in Orlando at Camping World Stadium next year. So Shad Khan and team president Mark Lamping, along with some luminaries from Orlando, will be discussing what the plans are and all that kind of stuff. And I think ultimately, Tony, we knew where this was headed.
Yeah.
It's nice to finally have some finality to it, though. And as Hacker said, now, I don't know, is Hacker a lead foot? I haven't driven with Hacker in years and years and years, because he said he can make it from his home in Mandarin to downtown Orlando in an hour 40 if you need to. Well, yeah.
I don't disagree with him. I will say that. I do not disagree.
Is that right?
If you drive right, as the old people like to say, if you drive right, you can get there in about an hour 40.
All right. Well, I mean,
where he is, because, I mean, we talk about it all the time, where he is, I mean, also depending where you exit, and if you're counting, like, the exit, like, hey, I'm here in Jacksonville, then, you can say
whatever exit you get off the 95, I think that's fairly
So
close.
he could argue an hour 40 if he wanted to. Like, I hopped on the exit, and I'm driving down beep, 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 beep. And I'm there in like an hour 40. I don't want to say what, street he lives on.
Hey, whatever the case may be, we knew it was going to be an inconvenience regardless.
Right.
And, there were proponents for Gainesville. Obviously, there are a lot of proponents for the Daytona International Speedway kind of theory of playing there that never really got off the ground. But would have been interesting to do that. Camping World Stadium kind of, nondescript, what have you. But it is what it is. It's a business trip.
Yeah. They'll be doing it for 1 year, and then they'll be here. Like, the idea that they figured this whole thing out where they're playing in Jacksonville this season, right? Like, that didn't feel like that was a real possibility until it was. With this whole thing, like, it was going to be 2 years. They're not going to be here. They figured out how to keep it in Jacksonville, even at half capacity, for 1 more year. So it's 1 season where they're not going to be in town. And look, I get it. Fans that are always going to be upset when they're not playing here, there was not going to be a good answer.
2 years is a long time, bro. I mean, to not have your team play in your city at all for 2 years. So, they did. They kind of bent over backwards to make it work that way and come up with a construction timeline and work out all the logistics.
Daytona would still be cool if they could figure out, like, how to host it there for a day, right? Like, if they could figure it out as, like, an event, that would be neat.
Phenomenal. Yeah, like as a one-off.
Yeah.
Let's not add that to any other games we're giving away, though. Like, if they were to one-off it, they're not, obviously, Camping World Stadium wants all those games in Orlando, and that's what's going to happen next year.
And
sometime in the future.
Stadium, it's like, don't play anywhere.
Right. If somebody,
I don't even like that they have
Bucks want to host us there in Daytona.
For you guys, very serious question. Do you think that going to Orlando, albeit for a year, do you think the Jaguars can accrue kind of a new bastion of fans there in Orlando? Because it seems like they're very excited that they're coming down there.
I think the team is good enough that if there's a bunch of local fans that see the team playing really well for a year, that you might get a few Jaguars fans.
You'll get a few.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what the number is that it would be to, quote, move the needle. Anybody is welcome, right, if you're a Jaguar fan. But think about it this way. Like, I've had Jaguar fans that I know have gone to many games, in some cases, season ticket holders are like, "Nah, I'm going to wait. I'm going to take the year off."
Yeah.
And I'm going to wait until they're back in Jacksonville. So here are folks that are used to going. They've got the commitment. And granted, it's a bigger time commitment now on that one day, but those folks, some of them, not all of them, because some are excited. They're going to follow the Jags wherever they go. But those folks, in some cases, are like, no, I'm gonna punt. I'm not going to go through that. So to get newly formed Jag fans to come all the way up, you'll get some, like you said. But I think the biggest, most important thing you said, Tony, is correct. They're a good team.
Yeah.
People want to follow a good team. They want to follow a winner.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked it is because the Magic posted something, saying like, hey, like we're excited that the Jags will be here for a year. And,
sure.
Like we can't wait to like do like some great things with you guys. Blah, 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 blah. So
I mean, the Magic got their own issues too, I'm sure. Filling up that building for all their home games. It's because the Magic aren't typically viewed as a very successful NBA franchise. If Orlando was getting the typical version of the Jaguars from their history, then no, they wouldn't convert a bunch of fans if they were playing there for a year. They'd be like, all right, they're here. We'll go once or twice. I think it would be the way that most Orlando people would deal with it. But if the team is going to be good while they're there, that's your chance to get people to become a fan of the product. It's the Jags are good and they're available to us, and maybe you get however many people that'll say, yeah, I'm a Jaguars fan now, right? Like, I think that's a possibility, but the only thing that's going to get that done is not that they're playing in Orlando. It's that they're good and playing in Orlando.
Yeah. By the way, Tom Coughlin would be losing his mind right now. All right. We are now 5 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock on the East Coast of the United States of America. Scheduled press conference at 11. What is happening, RJ, with Shad Khan and company?
They got caught in the traffic trying to get to Orlando.
You know what? I wonder that. Was it bad going that way? I don't know. I think they probably stayed the night down
So are you saying Coughlin had zero tolerance for being late to even press conference?
You know what Coughlin time is, right? Do you know?
No.
It's serious. Really?
Well, no, I heard when Double D was on with us, he said that Coughlin would lock the door at
5 minutes before.
Yeah, 5 minutes before.
Right. That is Coughlin time. On time means 5 minutes early. That is Coughlin time. Literal definition of Coughlin time.
5 minutes before.
Is 5 minutes. So if you have an 11 o'clock meeting, you really have a 10:55 meeting.
Yeah.
And the doors will lock 5 minutes earlier than the start time of your meeting because you couldn't be bothered to be there in Coughlin time. I know. Kind of silly, but he tried to set a standard and a culture and all those kind of things. I frankly don't care if the press conference to announce something that we all know is happening is a couple minutes late. I'm okay with that. I can live on that front as far as that goes. But he would, Mr. TC, be losing his ever-loving mind right now. Of course, he wouldn't be because Tom would have been at the press conference and he would have started. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And whoever else is not ready to go, you can follow in. You can do something out in the hall because we just locked the doors and you are not getting in.
Even for press conferences?
Yeah, I don't know about that. But, I'm just saying, if you walked into a Tom Coughlin press conference back in the day, he would, once it had started, you better tiptoe your butt in there, buddy. I'm saying, because, he would be like, what? I'm here. I got a lot going on. What do you got going on kind of thing? And I get it, man. Whatever. It's just, it is what it is. Tom Coughlin, whatever somewhat annoying idiosyncrasies he may have, Tom Coughlin is right there at the lead table when it comes to importance of Jaguars or Jacksonville sports figures all time. So
he's going to be a Hall of Fame head coach, it feels like one day. So.
Eventually, he'll get in there, man. It's, I guess winning 2 Super Bowls doesn't go as far as it used to, Tone, in terms of getting you down the line in that process.
Winning 6 apparently doesn't.
We're doing what's called vamping in some circles right now. Stretching. We're doing a little dance for you right now as we anticipated being about 8 minutes deep into salient comments from the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want to do it right now? Should we try that and just break back in? Let's do that.
Do we test the face?
Because we don't know when this is going to start. Let's take a quick timeout and try to come back, and we'll cut it short. We don't want you to miss any of the press conference. That's coming up on Jaguars Today, straight ahead on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. There was a time when sports radio in Jacksonville was small. Then came 1010XL.
Look! It's gigantic! It's colossal.
1010XL. Extra large radio.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right, and they give a bunch back to the community. Visit NimnickBuickGMC.com today to learn more, or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
Right now, they're going, why can't all radio breaks be like that, Tony? Like 90 seconds. Hey, we're back. And RJ Saunders is spinning the hits, ladies and gentlemen. They pulled a little okey doke on us there for a second, RJ. They went from, they've got the Jaguar logo with the word live up on Jaguars.com right now. And that came down, and we saw the podium. We're like, okay, here we go. And we're ready to go. Let's go to the owner's shot.